All right, we're live. Thanks to all of you for being here on time. That's amazing. We're gonna give people just a few more moments to trickle in. So let me know in the comments where you're calling in from. I'm here in the London HQ, but I know the Synthesia fam is global. So probably some of you are eating breakfast, some of you are having dinner. Let us know where you are. It's always fun to see where people are calling in from. In just a minute, we'll get started. This is gonna be, I think it's the most anticipated launch we've had this year so far. And that makes sense. This is a huge upgrade to the core avatar technology. And I can't wait to show you all the cool things that you'll be able to do with it. If you stick around to the end, we'll give you a link where you can go in and you can be one of the first people in the world to try out expressive avatars. You don't even have to sign up. So make sure you stay until the end and we'll drop that link for all of you here. That said, let's get started. As we always do, for those of you new to Synthesia and who haven't heard about Synthesia before, I want to spend just a few moments on talking a little bit about what we do. So at Synthesia, our mission is pretty simple. We want to make it easy for everyone in the world to make video content. And we do that by giving you one platform for all your AI video communications. We help you make the video with our avatars and voices. We're going to be talking more about that today. We give you an entire video editor where you can add in your screen recordings, your background images, text, animations, all the things that you need to make a video end to end. We also give you a collaborative platform, so you can have a team on Synthesia, you can invite your colleagues, you can leave comments, you can even work together in videos in real time, like you know it from Google Docs, where you can see each other's cursors. And once you're done with the video, we also help you share the video with the world. That could be through our sharing pages or via our video player, which you can put into your app or your website or wherever you want to have it. So it's one platform for the entire video lifecycle, and it's really easy to use. Being really easy to use, especially for people who don't have any video editing experience, but may come more from a background where they have created content, maybe you've written documents, maybe you've made PowerPoints. We try to make Synthesia as easy to use as possible. So we do that in a few different ways. We have a huge bank of templates where you can go in and you can find templates for different use cases, different visual looks and feels, get you started really quickly. We have our AI video assistant, a very, very popular feature that we launched recently. And with the AI video assistant, we can help take some of your existing content. That could be a PDF document, it could be a PowerPoint, it could be a blog post on your website, so a URL, or it can also be just an entirely free-form prompt idea. We can take one of those and we can generate a video for you. So we'll take the content, we'll write the script, we'll give you some basic visuals, and we have something which you can finalize yourself. And once you've done all that, we also help you with one-click translation. So take your video and make it into as many different languages as you want. Why is it important to make videos? Well, for us, the way we think of this is that if you look at the online economy today, it's just very, very obvious that people want to watch and listen to that content. And they don't want to read that much anymore, right? In our private lives, most of us, I'm guessing a lot of you out there as well, when you want to learn something new, probably you start on YouTube, maybe you listen to a podcast, you go on TikTok, and may also buy the book, but usually that's like step 5 down the line, right? And that is definitely the pattern most people have. And it makes sense because biologically we're just hardwired to better understand and remember visual content, right? It stimulates more senses, feels like more like how we consume information in the real world. And the kind of byproduct of this is that engagement goes up significantly. And for all of you out there who are making videos for a variety of different stakeholders, engagement is super, super, super important, right? If you're doing sales and marketing content, you want engagement because it translates to better conversion rates. If you're doing learning and training content, you want engagement because it translates into higher information retention. So engagement is really, really important. And engagement is only getting more important, and video is only going to get more important in terms of how we communicate. If you look at the average attention span, it has shortened by 69% since 2004. That is a staggering number, right? And what this means for everyone who makes content is you really need to be good at grabbing people's attention and keeping it. And of course, you don't do that with a huge wall of text. You do that with really awesome video and audio content. And that's what we help you do. This is, of course, what led to Synthesia. We developed the avatar technology back in 2020. And the insight we had back then was that humans just respond so much better to human faces and voices than anything else when it comes to communications. Since then, the avatar technology has come quite a far way, and today we're going to be showcasing you the latest and greatest. But I wanted to just take a moment to explain the progression of avatar technologies what are the limitations, and what are all the cool new things you're going to be able to do with expressive avatars. So back in 2020, we invented the first avatar platform. And this is the product that you'll see most other avatar products are still using this technology today. It's actually pretty simple. What you do is you take a real video of a real person, you loop it in a smart way, and then you just change the lips so that they match a new voice track. This solution can work pretty well. You've probably all seen really good results of this, but it does kind of break down, especially when you're using it for creating a lot of content, because ultimately the body language, the facial expressions, and everything else just doesn't match what the avatar is saying because it's just a video playing in the background. So you might get avatars that do weird things with their head like this, maybe like hands, which are like clearly not in beat with what's saying. And that's because it's actually just a video playing in the background, right? In 2022, we launched the first version of avatars that are fully synthetically generated. And what that means is that everything in the video is generated by AI, not just the lips. And what this enabled us to do back in 2022 was to take out those weird things you don't want in the video, right? You don't want avatars doing weird things with their head and their hands. In 2023, we kind of took that technology and we began using it to build back the performance into the avatars. So you can add in gestures, we improved the voices, and overall, the avatars just kind of perform better and look more real, right? But there's a big problem with avatar technologies up until this day. And it is that even though the results today are really good, avatars have no idea what they're actually saying. What does that mean? Well, it means that if you look at what humans do and the way we talk, we change our tone of voice, we change our facial expressions, we emote in our body language differently depending on what we say. So when I'm talking right now, you'll see that my eyebrows going up, I have a lot of micro expressions, my hands are kind of in tune with what I'm actually saying. That's not something I'm conscious about, right? That's just the way, that's what we do when we talk, and all of you out there do the exact same thing, right? It's a lot of very small things that makes us human, essentially. But avatars don't have this understanding today, and that's why a lot of avatars can look a bit robotic and a bit dull, and just to some extent a little bit unengaging, right? Because they're just very robotic in the delivery of their lines. One way of thinking of this is like when you give a line or script to a real actor, they will perform that, right? They won't just like read up what's on the paper. Today, avatars are just kind of reading up what's on the paper. We, with expressive avatars, have actually transformed them into actors that understand what they're saying and can deliver their lines in a way that is much more engaging and natural than before. What you're seeing right here in the background is you can see the kind of emotions and like micro expressions in the avatars. They can be happy, they can be a bit sad, they can even sort of laugh a little bit. And this is because we've built this new expressive avatar product on top of what we call our Express One AI model, which is essentially an AI model that has watched hours and hours and hours of people talking and kind of decoded what the language and the relationship between what we say and how we say it, so that we can make the avatars perform like that. The system has 3 components that you'll notice as a user of expressive avatars. The first one is sentiment prediction and facial expressions. This is all in our Express One AI model. And the second one is better lip sync. So this has of course been a continuous progress for us, a project for us to make the lip sync better and better. You should see a significant uplift with this new release. And last but not least, we've also given the voices an update so that they also match the body language, that they're emotive and have a high dynamic range of intonality, rhythm, and so on and so forth. The first thing here is around automatic sentiment prediction. So this really is all about figuring out the relationship between a specific sentence and a performance of the avatar. I'll love to just show you kind of like how this actually works. So if we jump into Studio, this is Julia. This is one of our new V4 expressive avatars. She's on a nice spaces background. And I'm gonna put in a few sentences here. So the first one I'm gonna put in is, I am very happy, exclamation mark, happy smiley. We'll get back to that in a minute. But I am frustrated and I am so upset. As you can see here, these are of course all emotionally laden words. And the reason I'm using emotionally laden words here to demonstrate how this works is because what the AI system picks up on, what Express One picks up on, is the nuances in the language, right? It's trying to figure out how this should be performed. And so you can even do kind of small fun things like adding in an emoticon or an emoji there, just to kind of re-emphasize over for the AI model that this should be like a happy sentence. And this way there's lots of like fun experimentation to be had to get the right performance out of your avatars. We've made a video with the script. Let's watch what this looks like.
I am very happy. I am so upset. I am frustrated.
So that's what it looks like with new expressive avatars. As you can see, it's a huge difference from what we had before that. And this is all because of our automatic sentiment prediction tech. The next one here is lip sync. So lip sync, you're all very well aware of. We've given it a big improvement in this version, and it's not just in English, this is in any language. So let's see how some of our new avatars do with some tongue twisters.
6 sleek swans swam swiftly southwards.
Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers.
How can a clam cram in a clean cream can?
Third is the human-like voice. So the voice is of course an incredibly important part of your video, both when you have an avatar, but of course even more so if you're doing slides that don't have, or scenes don't have an avatar in them. And here again, much more lifelike, much more natural, much more interesting to listen to. So let's just take a quick listen here to what traditional AI avatar voices sound like, and then we'll have a listen to the expressive voice after.
Can you hear that? I didn't realize it would transform the video so much. New voices really capture your attention.
Can you hear that? I didn't realize it would transform the video so much. New voices really capture your attention.
So as you can hear here, right, it's like it's just two completely different ways of saying the same thing. The latter one, of course, being much more natural and interesting to listen to. I can talk all day about Express One because it's such an exciting piece of technology, but I'd love to just bring it over to Jon Starck, who's our CTO, talk a bit more about the model, how it was made, and what it means for you as our customers, both today, but also in the future as we continue to develop this technology.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Starck. I'm CTO at Synthesia, and today we're here at our Whopping Press studio in London. So Express One is a new type of model that has learned how to understand the text that's spoken so that it can express non-verbal cues for communication. So when we speak, it's not just the words that we say, it's how we say it. It's a generative model that's learned to distill knowledge about the world from the data it's trained on. And we work with actors in London, in New York. So our production studios, I think it's something like 50 or 60 actors a week that we work with. And this is kind of an ongoing program to record the best performances in the world so we can kind of distill that into the performances of our avatars. Today with avatar technology, a lot of what's been done is looping and replay. You've got an existing video and you reuse it. With Express One, what we're doing is we're generating performances. It's a purely generative performance. Everything you see is completely new every single time. So when we think about the future of this type of technology, we think about unlocking richer and richer content for users. So being able to place avatars in locations, being able to use more body language in the way we communicate. This is all the sort of things we'd like to bring to our users.
Awesome. So what does this actually mean for you as customers, that the avatars are now much better and much more lifelike? Probably for a lot of you, I don't need to tell you that because it's what everyone has been asking for a really long time, and I think the results sort of like speak for themselves. But we did go out to the market, we did talk to a lot of our customers, we looked at how we use Synthesia internally and showed it to just a lot of people. And I think what it really kind of comes down to is that it opens up a lot of new use cases now that the avatars are more expressive and more natural. And the way it does that is because for videos where you want to connect with the viewer on some sort of emotional level, we actually can do that now with these avatars, but that wasn't really possible with the previous generation. So if you're talking about things that are sensitive, like healthcare, for example, like you want to have empathy in the voice, you want it to be pleasant to listen to. If you're doing product and marketing, sales content, you probably want a bit more kind of upbeat and excitement in the voice to really kind of storytell better. If you're doing customer support, you want to make sure that what is probably a frustrated customer feels like they're being listened to, that it's a friendly video that they're watching with a degree of understanding, not just like a robot kind of giving them tips on how to solve their problem. There's of course a million more use cases where this makes sense, but for us it's really about now you can actually begin to connect with the viewer in a very different way than you could before. So we prepared a few examples here of what that looks and sounds like. So first up, we've got healthcare education. I think when you look at this, or view this video, right, it's such a nice and pleasant experience to watch it.
Hi, James. I'm Paloma. I'm here to help with your medication and share some comforting tips. It's normal to feel overwhelmed and anxious, but I promise you'll start feeling better soon. My first piece of advice, keep your medication next to something you use daily. Have you considered involving your friends or family? They can provide great support during this time. I hope these tips are helpful. Let's go through treatment together. Let me know if you have any questions.
Yeah, so as you can hear, much more natural, has that kind of empathic voice, right? As a patient, you'd feel kind of in safe hands if you watch this video. On the product and marketing, it's a bit the different end of the spectrum. You want excitement, you want optimism. And again, all this is actually deduced by our model, right? From just the text. So it understands that for healthcare, it should sound a bit more empathetic than if you're putting in the script of someone selling you or making an ad. So all this is automatically determined by the system. Let's listen to the product marketing, which should be quite different.
Hello there! Let me introduce to you Spend Smartly's exciting new feature, auto savings. With it, saving money becomes a seamless and enjoyable part of your life. Let me explain. We round up to the nearest dollar and boost your savings whenever you shop. Coffee, groceries. Every swipe adds up. I could buy a house already. Join Spend Smartly now and turn your everyday purchases into future savings.
So as you can see here, this avatar is much more upbeat, much more excited, optimistic, and that's again like inferred from just the script. The third example we're going to see here is customer support. So here you're dealing with someone who's probably a bit unhappy with your product. They run into a problem and they're trying to solve it. So you want to meet them with a friendly face, a nice video that'll calm them down and help them solve that problem. So let's watch this one as well.
Hello there, I'm Jazz. Seems like you are having some trouble with the internet connection. That's annoying, but no worries. We'll have it up and running again quickly. First, let's find your router. You'll notice some lights on it. Go ahead and try unplugging it for a moment. All right, next stop. Let's take a quick look at your devices. Just make sure they are all connected to the right network, okay? Next, let's give your connection a quick test. Can you open a website or watch a video? How's it looking? Hope this was helpful and easy to follow. If not, please let us know via email.
So that's a few examples of what expressive avatars can do and how they're like different from the avatars that you know today. A few tips and tricks for how to use these avatars. Along with expressive avatars, we're also launching Avatar Preview. So Avatar Preview is real-time previewing of your video before you've actually rendered it. And this is quite powerful when you're putting together your performance, you're testing out different types of scripts and emotions. The way it works is just you hit the video preview button, and once you do that, you will get, in something like 10 seconds, you'll actually get to see the video and what it looks like before you render it out. It's a bit lower resolution than what the final result is, but it's fantastic for this kind of iteration on the script and the content that you have. To get expression out of the avatars, use emotive words. There's a few here on the slide that you can see. But in general, you want to use language that kind of provokes emotions, right? You can also use punctuation, so exclamation marks, question marks. You can even try putting smileys in there. Like everything you can do to sort of guide the system towards the emotion that you want to have in your video helps the system understand you better. So to sum up the difference between kind of old school AI avatars and expressive avatars, for old school avatars, right, you all know them, you've all seen the videos, and they work really well for some types of content, especially if it's more how-to or very kind of practical content, like how to change your password, works pretty fine. That is robotic demeanor, a bit of robotic voice. The script and the facial expressions and the body language is not really in sync, and that can give you these kind of weird moments. But again, it works for some use cases. On the other hand, expressive avatars actually understand what they're saying. The actors or AI avatars are performing like an actor would. And this means that it's much more pleasant to look at. Longer form videos is even better. And you can now begin to build a bit more of an emotional connection with your viewer, right? So if you're doing sensitive content where you want to drive a bit more engagement, you want to drive that connection, then expressive avatars is really, really superior in this regard. Expressive Avatars is very exciting, but we're of course working on a bunch of other things as well. And I just wanted to mention a few of them before we jump off. First one, we got multilingual voice cloning. So that means your voice in a lot of different languages. Very, very, very cool feature. You can hear yourself speak with a different accent, which just in itself is a really fun experience. We're adding more expressive avatars, of course, so keep an eye out in the coming weeks. More of them will drop into the product. We have our AI screen recorder. This is going to be really, really amazing addition to the product for those of you who work with screen recordings today. We'll soon be ready to lift the veil of what we've been working on, but this will make your life a lot easier. The last one is triggers. We're renaming markers, which is a system we use for animating content into your videos. We've just simplified it, made it a bit more powerful. And for those of you who are super users, I think you'll really enjoy kind of the direction that this feature is taking up next. But of course, last but not least, test out the expressive avatars. All of you here in the call have a chance to be the first in the world to actually play with this technology. If you go to synthesia.io/avatars, you can try it out for free. You don't even have to put your email in. We also have a freemium, so if you want to try out the entire product, you can definitely do that as well. Let us know what you think of the avatars. What do you want? How can we make them better? And then I'll be very excited to talk about the next generation sometime later this year, which will be even more mind-blowing than what we're seeing today. Thank you so much for being here. I really, really, really appreciate it. And I cannot wait to see all the cool things you'll be creating with expressive avatars. Thank you.